when I introed you just now and said entrepreneur, how did that land in your own mind? You're like, oh, Gary's being nice. Oh, he's right. Or it's cool that Gary sees me that way. Or it's neat that he sees that. Or yes, I am. Or I can't wait to do more. Like, how did that land?
Probably a little bit of all the above. I'm so used to being introed as a songwriter, but ultimately, or an artist, but that is an entrepreneur. You're manufacturing something out of nothing, figuring out where culture sits with what you're creating, finding that true market fit of
Correct.
your record. And the reason I got into entrepreneurship, funny enough, the degree that I was pursuing initially in college was a entrepreneurship degree. And I just like creating things, man. And you said something really interesting thing a minute ago. You said, the connection between writing a hit record or a hit TV show or whatever, and the parallels between investing in something or creating something, creating a brand or a company that also resonates with the world. They're so similar.
Bro, I'm blown away. I mean, we've talked about this off screen. Like, one of the most flattering things ever to me was ever, because I have so much admiration for you. In my career was maybe 18 months ago when we started talking more often, and you're hitting me up of like, hey, Gary, your music these people, like,
yeah,
like about, I've always, to me, the Baby and TikTok,
yep,
and Supreme or Kith,
yep,
or Bushwick or Dumbo, real estate. It's all, I just play one game of I see something before somebody else sees it because I understand human beings.
Dude, that is my whole game right now. I started investing years ago in, alongside Guy Osseri and Ashton initially. Mm-hmm. Abe Burns, who ran that investments, became my homie. Then Paul Wachter, got connected with a lot of the different kind of like forecasting minds in Los Angeles. And obviously not, goes without saying, you in New York, and picking things, investing in things that, to me, I use myself as a litmus test, as a barometer. If I like something, I see so much shit around the world, traveling around the world, 300,000 miles a year. I see stuff popping off in Madrid, New Zealand, Sydney, Hong Kong. And when you are constantly injecting yourself into global culture, listening, tapping in and paying attention,
inevitably 20% of the comments on this YouTube video are going to be like, Gary, stop being a dick. Ryan has so much good to say. Stop interrupting him. and I always think about him like, my God, I'm so hyper listening, so intuitive. I know what the person's going to say. I know that this is over in 22 minutes. I want to get to so much shit. I knew what he was going to say, but I'm not the greatest interviewer because I need to mature in my life in making sure the full audience like, I already know what you're going to say. So I'm like, cool, boom, quick, the way we would eat dinner. But meanwhile, there's other people listening like, no, I wanted Ryan to finish that thought. I'm like, what? You didn't understand what the thought was? It was that, and so, yes, it's listening.
It's listening, dude. It's listening. And then what happens is, for anybody watching it, starting a company, wanting to invest in startups, seed funding, whatever you're doing, it's listening, paying attention. My dad would always say the 11th commandment in the Bible is thou shalt not bullshit thyself. So that's the 11th commandment. Don't bullshit yourself. Don't, just because your mom likes
awareness.
Your mom likes it, your girlfriend likes it, cool. We're talking about the world liking it. And I think being real and honest, being your own worst critics, you're not being judged in the court of public opinion, but you're really critically thinking when you put something together. And then I think, like you said, Gary, it's listening and finding that thing. Here's one clue from me. If I keep complaining about something, and I'm not a big complainer, I don't like complainers. I don't like people who complain and then don't provide a solution. My whole team that works with me knows, don't come at me with a problem if you don't have, and I want you to have
at least a hypothesis of a solution.
A hypothesis. Don't just go boom and then walk out of the room. So for me, it's like, if I find myself being irritated about the lack of this, or I wish this existed. I wish this thing, whatever. Once I do that enough, that's my self-time. I go, wait a minute.
Is that why you're creating more products these days? I know that I feel like every 100 days I get a text from you like, dude, need to talk to you in a week. I got and that fires me up.
Yeah, I'll give you, you already know about, I've been in, the CBD water thing, I found CBD as a much needed panacea for stress. I'd gone through a really bad patch in 2017, 16 of just, I worked it too hard. I found the wall, I hit it, burned it at both, pick your analogy, burnt it at both ends. Didn't like Xanax, didn't like wanting to be on drugs at all. Discovered CBD. My high school guys that I graduated high school with started Charlotte's Web, which is the largest CBD companies in the world. They gave me the medical shakedown on it. I fell in love. I'm a true believer. So I got into the space, and I didn't like how it tasted. I'll give you just two quick examples. I didn't like how CBD tasted. I didn't like the medicinal plant flavor. And then I also, at the same time, crush a lot of coffee, don't drink enough water. And I thought, what if you took CBD, everybody's on functional beverages, made it taste good, add it with water, did the whole Tom Shoes give back, 1 for 1, like have a social imperative behind your company. That's another thing. Don't just be a profit monster, have a social imperative.